pride in their own work. If if you show up to work and you half-ass it, you're going to hear about it from your foreman, from your boss, from your manager, whoever. You're going to be held to a higher account, and you expect the same from the athletes on the teams that you support. You're paying good money. You're essentially the customer, if you want to look at it that way. I certainly don't. I think there's more to it, but you're paying good money to go out there and see them give it their all, and when they don't, they've let you down. It's personal.
Yeah, it's a money component. It's a time component. Some people traveling for hours. Like I heard everybody talking about, like, oh, they're going to travel up the games, like up at Inverness and stuff, and that's like what, like a 3-4 hour trip or something. And these guys are getting up fucking before the crack of dawn, just like we do to watch matches on TV and hit the city. I mean, we have the time difference. We're getting up at like 5 in the morning to watch. People are making more than just a fiscal, kind of contribution. They're giving up part of their lives, man.
Absolutely.
They're going out to do stuff to give their blood, sweat, and fucking tears. And if you see someone half-assing it, man, you're going to be like, what the fuck, man? I go to my job, I get my balls broke about it. Why shouldn't this guy, I'll get my pound of flesh out of him too, because he just was going through the motions.
Right.
I want somebody who's going to be making that fucking top dollar to go out and score goals or play hard and do what they're supposed to, man.
Absolutely right.
I don't think that's a lot to ask.
No, it certainly isn't. Minimum requirements. But on the flip side, what you find with Celtic supporters as well as Philadelphia supporters is that if you do that, if you cross that line and you leave everything out there, we'll love you forever. Even if you come up short, and God knows Philadelphia sports fans have come up short enough times. But even if you come up short, but if you leave everything out there, we'll love you for it.
And that's it, man. You're not going to win it all the time. And yeah, we do want winners, and we all love winners. But if you put in a shift, man, people respect that. But like I said, you're not going to bullshit people. If you're just fucking around and you're just going to all right, I'm just out there and whatever. Look at the thing with Guidetti, man. People feel like he slacked a little bit. It's just talking about money and contracts and all this stuff. And they get on his ass,
right.
And rightfully so, man.
Right.
You want to get paid big bucks, and you got to score fucking goals, man. It's simple as that.
And so there's definitely a connection there between the mentality of Philadelphia sports fans. Let's lock in Philadelphia because you're, like we've talked about, you're a Philly guy, so am I. I think there's so many similarities, and the mindset between the Philly sports fan and Celtic supporters. But what are some of the other similarities, and what are also some differences between the two supports?
Other similarities is that we tend to be a lot of infighting from time to time with, like between Celtic supporters. Sometimes, people get very heated about the club and about Ronnie Dyla and all this stuff. And it's the same thing with like any of the Philly squads, man. I found myself, getting fucking apeshit crazy about the Birds and everything. And it's like, all of a sudden, people are like, you're too mental, you're too this, you're too that. And I'm like, nah, man, I don't think, what would you, reward fucking apathy instead?
Right.
You want me to just sit around and happy clap, man?
Right.
That's not how I am. I live and breathe this shit, dude. I'm all fucking in.
Right.
And you're going to sit there and be like, oh, man, you get too crazy. Yeah, I do get too crazy. Because I love this shit. I've been fucking all in with Philly since I could walk. Celtic came along later on and stuff, but I mean, I'm still in it, man. If I didn't love this club, I don't have a fucking Prem club. I don't have a La Liga club. I don't have a fucking Serie A club. I got one club, dude, and that's Celtic.
Amen to that.
and that's it. And that's it. If I wanted some glitchy glamour, I could go Man United or some shit like that, but I'm not a fucking phony.
Well, and I'll speak for myself. I mean, the only reason why I even have any sort of interest in the sport at all is because of Celtic. I mean, I didn't know anything. I mean, I played, parks and recreation soccer when I was like, 5 to 8. But other than that, I never played organized soccer. That wasn't the cool thing growing up. Now, eventually I wound up playing competitive golf. That wasn't exactly the cool thing either, but I digress. But, like I said, I wouldn't, Celtic was my bridge into the sport, and it was the story behind Celtic which captivated me first. It was supporting the club itself, what it stood for, what it represented, its history, the personalities that were behind it. That was first for me, and then learning about the game was second. And I get to ask this question a lot, and I'm not familiar if we've even gone in depth with this topic with you, but Share with us, how did you get interested in Celtic? How did you come to support Celtic, the club?
Well, it's kind of like in a real roundabout way, and I'll just make it real short. I had followed the Prem for like English football in the early 80s, mid 80s, because I played the fucking sport since I was a kid. But I didn't really have any team that I could sit there and get hyped about. Back then, it was like donkey shit, you know? It was just, we got Derby County versus some fucking club you never heard of. And so you couldn't really sink your teeth in anything like that. Maybe was it on Wednesday or something.
Was it the donkey shit Wanderers? Maybe
it might as well have been, man. It might as fucking well have been. But
donkey shit Albion.
But as time went along, I'd heard about this club called Celtic, and I had heard a little bit about how they're from Scotland, it's not England, and that they were created by this guy from Ireland, and that they have Irish roots even though they're a Scottish club. And I had always thought that was pretty cool. But I mean, you couldn't follow it at the fucking time. There wasn't you didn't have an outlet for Scottish football. So as time went along, it was kind of always in the back of my mind about knowing about Celtic. But eventually they started showing Celtic matches in the bars and stuff. And it was but you had to pay 20 fucking bucks to go watch Celtic versus Motherwell or something. It's I'm going to pay 20 bucks.
Back when 20 bucks meant something.
Yeah, I mean, it was but I mean, it was okay. I mean, I wouldn't do it all the time, but it's once they finally came out with Celtic TV, it's okay, we got this avenue where you don't have to go to the fucking bar now. And I told you, the first real big moment that I had, the one thing that totally locked my feet in was the match against Rangers, where Venagora Hesseling scored the game winner at the death.
Ah, yes.
And that was the one with Cuellar putting his fucking hand up to knock the ball away after Nakamura put it on goal. And I was freaking the fuck out, man. I'm just steaming. I was drinking fucking beers and I'm partying. And I'm you get that feeling what the fuck, man? That should have been a goal. We just got robbed. Now he's got to take this penalty, and it got fucking saved. Now he really got robbed. So I'm freaking out, and I sent this email to them and Celtic TV, and that was back with Jim Craig and the other dude. I can't remember, a short little dude that ended up with the Daily Record or whatever.
Greg or Kyle.
Yeah. And I say, I'm what the fuck? That should be a goal. That's bullshit.
Nakamura and his sweet left foot.
Oh, yeah, right. Well, he had the first goal in the game. That was gorgeous.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Fucking McGregor making snow angels out in the fresh surf and everything. It was beautiful. And so they talked about my email on the air and everything. They're having a laugh. You still have to take the penalty, this and that. But later that night, I get an email in my, fucking Yahoo account. And I'm sitting there, I'm who the fuck is that? And I see Jim Craig. And I'm Jim Craig? The Lisbon Lion Jim Craig? So I open it up. And he started asking me all the questions. How did you hear about Celtic? How did you become a supporter all the way over in the USA? We love your passion, this and that. So, I'm mental patient. I'm sitting there it's 1 in the morning and I should be going to fuck to bed. And I'm oh my God, man, I'm all hyped now. It's the fucking Lisbon Lions, man. It's Jim fucking Craig, dude. All my life I've supported Philly teams. Not one fucking person at the time of day to sit there and give you an autograph unless they're charging you for it or something.
You mean Andrew Toney never called you at home to to ask you why you like the Sixers at all? Or?
Not Moses Malone, no Moses.
You wouldn't be able to understand Moses, but anyway.
I got straight up fucking jobs with that, man. But here's this guy. I mean, this guy's a legend, man. The whole club's a legend. It's a fucking legendary club. And I'm sitting there, and it looked like must have been. Came back and he must have been oh my God, this dude's a fucking mental patient. I love Celtic, I'm banging away on my keyboard, and I'm just this is, how fucking cool is that? I mean, that doesn't, and you see guys, and I told the thing about where Chaz has the picture of him and Tommy Burns and everything when he was growing up and all that. And I mean, then you see the one with Tommy Burns and Gordon Strachan when they were in the Bronx and everything with the cowboy hats on.
Just for the record, Chaz has a picture with every Celtic player that's played in the past 25 years. He's got pictures of him and Neil Lennon in the Denver airport. I don't know how this happens, but
I'm guessing it's great grandfather must have one with Willie Maley or something fucking copper tone or whatever thing
the world's first selfie.
But I mean, if how can you not love a club like that? It has such a connection to the support. I mean, this guy didn't have to do fuck all, and I would never have known for the better. And here he is taking his time out to find out about me. I'm gonna, I was like over the moon. I was totally blown away, man. And yeah, that pretty much sold me at that point. I said, this is special. This is really special.
See, you key on something that's so important, and something that has been so frustrating for myself and so many supporters in North America. And you've been very vocal about this, rightfully so. You're very passionate talking about this. And that is the sort of apathy that the board and that the powers that be at Celtic seem to have towards the supporters over here. I've heard Tam Donnelly, the president of the Fed, remark in conversations with Peter Lawwell that Peter Lawwell said that we don't spend enough money with Celtic, and therefore we don't warrant the sort of attention like bringing the trophies that we'd win over to the North American Convention, in spite of the fact that, you know, Rangers would make a practice of doing that every year for, you know, the Hun Convention with, you know, the drums and the gorillas and everything else. Peter Lawwell, you know, it seems to have to qualify our you know, whether or not we deserve it based on how much we spend. And they're certainly missing a trick here. You're a perfect example of this. You know, I mean, just a little bit of outreach, just a little bit of connection and a little bit of appreciation, and how far that can go in terms of enrolling people into supporting the club. I mean, they talk about growing the support worldwide, yet they do such precious little to back that up. And it's incredibly frustrating to me. I know it's incredibly frustrating to you. I mean, well, first off, let me ask, you know, you mentioned earlier, you know, the awareness back in the 80s of Bobby Sands and Republicanism and all that. Was it Niall? Clear this up. Was it Niall McGinn who sent you over the Sands '81 Celtic jersey? Yes or no?
Well, much to the chagrin of other Tims, no, it wasn't. Okay. I guess Aberdeen fans would be really happy about that, so they can go back to humping their sheep and everything.
Right. Yes. Hump your sheep.
Nah, man. You know, we've talked about that. That was one of the. I mean, that was something so fucking stupid. I mean, it was like, you know, somebody on Twitter gave me the idea. They said, because I couldn't, you know, I have fucking every top from Hooper to Jimmy Johnston, you know, and I want something different, man. And someone said, well, why don't you get Sands on there, Sands '81? And I said, that's a fucking awesome idea.
Especially over here, because you can wear it wherever you want.
And who the fuck's going to, you know, I mean, you're not really going to get much hassle on it.
No.
And so, like, you know me, I have credit card, do the whole fucking deal. All right, man, send it, man. I want my top. And a month goes by, and I haven't heard fuck all from anybody. Kit bag, Celtic, nothing, nobody.
Which is standard.
Yeah, and then I start sending a couple emails, nobody responds.
Which is standard.
Another month goes by. So now we're in the 2 months. And I'm like, is somebody going to fucking tell me where my top is? Because this isn't exactly cheap, you know? And I want to know what the deal is. And I finally get an email, and it says that Sands '81 is too political. We will free print anything you want on the top, but we can't do this. You have to pick something else.
Well, it was good of them to take, you know, 3 months to be able to decide that. They must have had, you know, committees and panel hearings and so on. I mean, there's clearly a lot of thought that went into it.
I said, am I on fucking Mars here, man? Seriously? Like, who's putting too much thought into this shit? Just send me my fucking top. Like, I don't live in goddamn downtown Glasgow where it's going to be like, where did he get this? And I'm fucking being hung out a window or some shit. I live in South Jersey.
That'd have to be a big-ass window.
Yeah, it had to be a pretty big fucking window, but that's besides the point, man. Like, why are we making such an issue of this goddamn thing? Send me the jersey, or send me my fucking money back. And sure enough, after like third month going by, and I hadn't heard anything again, because I told him, I said, I'm not fucking picking another jersey. I don't want my jersey or I want my money back. And all of a sudden, after the third month goes by, one day, there's this package in my fucking mail, and here it is. No explanation, no email saying, oh, we decided to send it to you after all, da-da-da-da-da. Just a package and my shit.
Somebody must have just said, you know, send him the jersey and maybe he'll leave us alone.
I was on Twitter. I'm like, am I on Mars here? Just fucking send it. Send it. It's a jersey, man. Send it. Stop making it a big deal. Send the goddamn thing. And I like, somebody really overthought the shit out of that. And it's just like, I really think you see things that go on with